My first question says, which expression is equivalent to 1/2 times 2n plus 6? So the first thing I'm going to do is take that 1/2 and distribute it, meaning I'm going to multiply that by what is inside the parentheses. So that would mean I do 1/2 times 2n and 1/2 times 6. And if you'd like, we can set the 2n and the 6 over 1 because those would be considered whole numbers. And then I'm going to multiply straight across. So 1 times 2n is 2n. 2 times 1 is 2. So we get 2n over 2. 1 times 6 is 6. And 2 times 1 again is 2. And now I'm going to simplify this. So 2 divided by 2 would cancel out. And that leaves me with 1n. And 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So we get n plus 3. My next question says, which expression is equivalent to 3x minus 2x plus 4 plus 5? Now, if I have a negative sign outside the parentheses, that is an understood -1, which means that I need to distribute that -1 to what's inside the parentheses. So -1 times 2x is -2x. -1 times a +4 is -4. And then I'm going to bring down those other two terms. Now I need to go ahead and combine my like terms. So I can put together 3x minus 2x, or 3 and -2. So 3 and -2 would give us a +1. So that leaves me with x. And then I'm going to put together the -4 and the +5, and that would also leave me with a +1. So my answer would be x plus 1. Next, we have a similar type of question. So 2 times 3 minus x minus 12 plus 4x. So I'm going to take the 2 and I'm going to distribute that to what's inside the parentheses. So 2 times 3 gives us 6. 2 times a negative, and again, this is an understood -1 here. So 2 times -1 is going to give us -2x minus 12 plus 4x. And then I'm going to combine like terms so I can put together the -2x and the +4x. That would leave us with +2x. And then I can put together the +6 and the -12, which is going to leave us with -6. So 2x minus 6. Our next question says, Kyle bought X pencils. He paid $1.24 including tax per pencil. He gave the cashier $20 and received $5.12 and change. How many pencils did Kyle purchase? So the first thing I'm going to do here is subtract the $5.12 from 20 so I can figure out how much he spent on the pencils. So $20 minus $5.12. And I'm going to have to borrow here. So I need to come all the way over to the 2. I'm going to make that a 1. This would become a 10, but then it would become a 9 since I need to borrow it to make this a 10. And this would also become a 9. And this becomes a 10. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then we have 1 minus nothing, which is 14. So that tells us that he spent $14.88 on the pencils. Now it says each pencil is $1.24. So I'm going to take that $14.88. I'm going to divide that by $1.24 so I can figure out how much he spent, how many pencils he bought. So when I'm dividing, I would put $1.24 on the outside and $14.88 on the inside. I can't divide by a decimal on the outside, so I'm going to move that decimal 2 places to the right, which means I move the inside decimal 2 places to the right. So now I'm dividing 124 into 1,488. So 124 cannot go into 1, cannot go into 14, but can go into 148 one time. And I'm going to subtract 124, and that would leave me with 24. I'm going to bring down that 8. 124 can go to 248 two times, and I am left with nothing. So Kyle bought 12 pencils total. Our next question says, 4 friends each flipped a coin a different number of times. Alice got heads 75% of the time. Mary got heads 8 out of 10 times. Sarah got heads 17 out of 20 times. And Ellen got heads 3/5 of the time. Who had the greatest percentage of heads? So Alice is already has a percent. So we have 75%. Mary got heads 8 out of 10 times. And remember, a percent is out of 100. So we're looking for 8 out of 10 equals what out of 100? So to get from 10 to 100, I have to multiply by 10. So then I would do the same thing here. And 8 times 10 is going to give us 80. So this here would be 80% for Mary. Right? Sarah got heads 17 out of 20 times. So Sarah, 17 out of 20. We want to know what percent out of 100. So to get from 20 to 100, I have to times by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And 17 times 5 is going to give us 85. So Sarah would have had 85%. And then it says Ellen got heads 3/5 of the time. So 3/5, we want to know how much out of 100. So to get from 5 to 100, I have to multiply by 20. So I would do the same thing up top. And 3 times 20 is going to give us 60%. And now we're looking for who had the highest percentage. So Alice had 75%, Mary had 80%, Sarah had 85%, and Ellen had 60%. So Sarah would have had the highest percentage. Our next question says, which expression is equivalent to negative 1/2 times 1/4 x minus 3/8? So again, I have a number outside the parentheses, so that means I'm going to multiply it by what's inside the parentheses. So negative 1/2 times 1/4, and then negative 1/2 times a negative, make sure you're taking the sign with it, 3/8. And I'm going to multiply straight across. So negative 1/2 times a positive 1/4 is going to give us negative 1/8. Negative 1/2 times negative 3/8 is going to give us a positive 3/16. So I have negative 1/2 x plus 3/16, which would be answer A. Which choice describes the value of m when negative 5 times m plus 1 is less than or equal to 23? So again, I'm going to take this number outside parentheses and multiply it. So negative 5 times m is negative 5m. Negative 5 times a positive 1 is negative 5. That is less than or equal to 23. Now I need to solve the inequality. So I'm going to add 5 on both sides. And we get negative 5m is less than or equal to 28. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. And we're going to get m. And if I look at my answer choices, it was left as a fraction. So we have negative 28 over 5. And then I need to flip the inequality sign because I am dividing by a negative 5. So instead of that being less than or equal to, I flip it to greater than or equal to, which is answer A. Our next question says, the teacher divided the class into 2 groups of equal size. 3/5 of the first group are right-handed and 80% of the second group are right-handed. What fraction of the class is right-handed? So we're going to change our 3/5 into a percent. There's multiple different ways you can do this problem, but I think the easiest way is changing them into percents. So 3/5 percent is out of 100. So we're figuring out 3/5 is what out of 100. So to get from 5 to 100, I have to multiply by 20. So 3 times 20 is going to give us 60%. So that means 60% of the first group is right-handed, and then 80% of the second group is right-handed. So that would mean total, if I add these two up, that would give us 140%. Now 140% of the class isn't right-handed, so I need to cut that in half because it says the teacher divided the class into 2 groups of equal size. So if I divide 140% in half, that is going to give me 70%. So then I'm looking for which fraction is equivalent to 70%. And that would be C 7/10. Right, our next question, we need to solve the equation. And because we have an operation here in the numerator, we have y minus 7, that means that we need to get rid of the denominator first. So to get rid of the denominator, I'm going to multiply by 9, because remember, a fraction means division, so I'm going to do the opposite. These will cancel out, and I'm left with negative 45 equals y minus 7. Then I need to cancel out the minus 7, so I'm going to add 7 on both sides, and negative 45 plus 7 gives us negative 38. And lastly, Daniel earned $8 per hour at his job. Daniel works 35 hours each week, and he received a 5% pay increase. How much more money will Daniel earn each week after the pay increase? So first we're going to figure out how much money Daniel earned originally each week. So he works 35 hours, and he gets $8 per hour. So we're going to do 35 times 8. And that's going to give us a total of $280. Then he receives a 5% pay increase. So I'm going to multiply this by 5%. And 5% as a decimal is 0.05. So 280 times 0.05. And that is going to give me 14. So B, $14.